Hey guys, it's you Raymond McLean for Live once again, and I wanna welcome everyone back to my final review on Friday the 13th franchise. And this is the final review that I'm doing this franchise because of itself there were 12 movies. And of course, today I'm going to review and talk about it and give my thoughts, which I think is another underrated Friday the 13th film, another favorite film of mine, and that's of course 2009 reboot Friday the 13th. And yeah, this is the film that people shit on it, that they crap on it. I have always enjoyed this film. Actually, I prefer this movie over the original. And yeah, they actually rebooted the first four films, directed by Marcus Nispel and stars Jared Padalecki in the main role. And of course, this is the back. Now, this is the cover is different, but it has Killer Cut on it because I think on the Blu-ray you can only get Killer Cut. I don't know if on the new box set if it is theatrical cut on it on that Blu-ray disc because I only have Killer Cut, which is 1 hour 45 minutes longer, which is actually more gore and extended scenes are actually put together, which is more gory because the theatrical cut, which was I think was in movie theater, was 1 hour 37 minutes longer. This is 1 hour. This is actually 8 minutes longer, but it doesn't matter because I still enjoy the film and it's one of my favorite horror films so far. Not top 10, but I think it's definitely top 20. Is right there. But it's just awesome film. I mean. Do I think is this movie the best one, the best remake or reboot? No. To me, The Hills Have Eyes 2006 is still the best horror slasher reboot. But this is right there, and not the best one, but it's really good one. It's an entertaining slasher horror film directed by Marcus Nispel. So welcome to Crystal Lake, and this is from the director of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yes, the reboot. The remake 2003, and that was before I even saw this movie. And I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I have to say this is actually I prefer this movie mainly because of Jared Padalecki. So I saw this movie back in 2010 because that time I was a huge Supernatural fan, and yeah, I was huge Supernatural fan. You know. Sam Winchester was one of my favorite characters in that show, and and when I watched season 5, I actually check on both the guys, both the main stars, Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki, what those two characters, those two actors, in what roles they were, and I saw they both did reboots. And I did this movie wasn't problem to get online at the time, but my Bloody Valentine I actually kind of had a few problems, especially because it was 3D. It was really hard to get that to download it online. That film that was kind of problem. This was kind of easy, but watching both the films, I have to say I prefer this movie over my Bloody Valentine. I love that movie, but I love this movie more. I thought, in my opinion, Jared Padalecki did much better job than Jensen Ackles because he played, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie, better stop now. But in that movie, he's a bad guy. Turns out that Dean Winchester's a bad guy in that movie. In this movie, Sam Winchester, Jared Padalecki did fantastic job in my opinion, and he's the best one. Actually, he's better than Tom Matthews in my opinion. And actually, there was an original writer for this movie, and it was Mark Wheaton, but he actually was replaced, and of course Damian Shannon, Mark Swift, who previously worked on Freddy vs. Jason. I reviewed a couple days ago. I reviewed that movie, and yes, they actually both they worked there. They actually worked with that film, so they actually were hired, and they actually wanted to do a reboot of the film. Mark Wheaton had on mind to do Friday the 13th Part 5. he wanted that this movie would have ignored all the 7 sequels and will continue there where the final chapter left off. That's what he wanted, but he was replaced. I don't know why he was replaced. I think they didn't like his draft. I don't know, but he actually had in mind that Mark Wheaton had in mind that Jason wears a sack throughout the film, and then he puts, the iconic hockey mask from Friday the 13th Part 2 and 3, and they actually used that in the film. Even though Mark Wheaton Mark Wheaton was replaced by Damian Shannon and Mark Swift. Also Victor Miller, because the character Clay Miller is actually based on Victor Miller, who created the characters. Victor Miller did not get along with I think was with those companies, because he felt they actually paid him low for, excuse me, they thought they actually paid him low for the franchise, because he thought that the screenplay it was like a reboot, and he thought that the movies should be more a sequel. He was disappointed with the draft of what he wrote, the screenplay, and he wanted to have larger salary out of it, more profit. So he sued them, he took legal action, and he lost the case. He was paid less anyway, he could not get more profit. Serves him right, I don't know why the fuck he even wanted, and later he found out it was a reboot. They rebooted first 4 Friday the 13th movies. And yeah, and if you remember, the first movie, Jason's mom is beheaded. That was in part 1. In part 2, we see sacked Jason because it's like 20 years later. In part 3, he does an iconic mask. And I kind of forgot what was in part 4. But actually, the final scenes in part 4, when in part 4 he gets a machete in the head, this time he's stabbed with a machete. So yes, they went and they rebooted the first 4 Friday the 13th films. Yeah, some people really hate this film. I love this movie to death. Yes, it's one of my top 4 favorite Friday the 13th films. I know which are my top 4. Sadly, I don't know which is my number 5 and number 6. Which I'll have to figure out. I'll have to rewatch Friday the 13th, the original, and the third one again, so that I can make, because I will be doing my own ranking video, and I'll explain, the movie. I'll go once again through the franchise, and I'll explain which is my favorite and my least favorite. And no, I'm not gonna rewatch Never Hike Alone. I'm not gonna watch Never Hike in Snow. I'm not gonna watch any of the fan movies made. I'm not gonna review them because I am really, I'm really scheduled with work. I'm really busy and I have really scheduled of work, and I really don't have time to do that because that will just take me another time. So I'm not gonna do it. I'm not, I'm not someone who's lazy and does not work. See, I was just almost fall asleep because I could not sleep last night. I had to woke up 5:50 a.m. in the morning, so I have to go work. I don't have time for those things. So no, I'm not gonna revisit on YouTube. I'm not gonna review them. There are other days that I review. I'm only gonna review 12 movies, and this is the number 12 that I'm gonna review. So yeah, I'm gonna do rankings of all 12 movies. That means excluded Never Hike Alone. Besides, I don't like the Tom Matthews anymore. I have nothing against him. I'm pretty sure he's a nice guy. I just don't like his shitty character or how he's praised. When his character did not defeat Jason. He's in a video game, but yet Tina Shepard cannot be in video game. Oh, because we have to ignore her. Oh, this movie right there sucks. Oh, this movie is bad. Oh, Jason Leaves is the best. He's the best of the film. Oh, he has great kills. TJ Graham's the best. He's the best of the best. I'm just tired of listening how great Jason Leaves is. I'm sick and tired of it. And that's one of the reasons, it's like I want to punch those people in the face because it's annoying. I'm not going to actually really punch anyone. I'm just saying that it's annoying as hell every time someone ranks the film and Jason Lives is number one, and this movie is like number 7 or number 8 or number 9 is this movie. Or even someone lasted like was number 11, and I want to know why. I think that the same year Rambo 3 came out, it's always the last one. Why? Rambo 3 sucks, this movie sucks, I don't get these people. I know they have different tastes. Everyone have different tastes. That doesn't mean they're wrong or anything. I just don't understand them, and I disagree definitely with that. And Friday 13th Part 7, The New Blood is my favorite. And you know what? These people say, oh, the original is better, but this isn't. I'm sorry. I give credits to Jason more than Miss Voorhees, and I thought Derek Mears was convincing scary Jason. Yeah, and people, there's another problem that I keep listening and hearing about. Oh, Jason is way too smart in this movie. He's since when he's kidnapping films? Oh, since when he's putting booby traps? I mean, read it on trivia on IMDb. The actor Derek Mears said that Jason is actually in this movie is different portrayed than it was in the past 11 movies. He's portrayed different. He's actually a skillful hunter, just like which was inspired by John Rambo, First Blood. And he's like John Rambo. He defends his territory, and he only does not like when trespassers are going to his property, and that's one of the reasons why he's killing those people. And I thought, so now Jason is actually smart. I think it's another criminal underrated movie. I think, to me, Part 7 and Jason Goes to Hell, this movie, the remake, the reboot, is underrated. Those 3 are criminally underrated, and they are treated lousy. And this will be number 4 in Friday 13 films. I'm not gonna do this video ranking. You have to wait for it. But yes, I dearly love this film to death. I love the gore. I love the nudity. Oh, Michael Bay left the movie theater. Oh, too much sex. I don't know why the fuck then he even decided to produce this film. This movie of the horror films, in my opinion, with My Bloody Valentine for the past 12 years, is the best horror film I have seen so far. I did like it, A Quiet Place. I saw last year the sequel in movie theater. I like that film, but honestly, I prefer slasher film a lot. I prefer this kind of movie. I love The Hills Have Eyes because it's more horror slasher, and I'm not talking about 1977. I'm talking about 2006 with Alexander Aja and Wes Craven, a producer in that movie. That's the best one of 2000 horror film I have seen. One day I'll have to review both the films. But yeah, that's number 5, my favorite horror film. Number 1 is Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984. Not New Nightmare, the original is my favorite movie. Welcome to Crystal Lake. So they actually wanted to reboot it, and they rebooted the first 4 movies. Now to the story. In Crystal Lake, young kid Jason is actually witness when this time it wasn't the girl's name Alice. Mrs. Voorhees, she killed all the counselors and she tried to kill the final girl, and played by Stephanie Rhodes. She's camp counselor, and young Jason sees how that girl goes and she beheads her mom. And that was 1980. No, they actually set in 1980. So now back in 2008, because this was actually filmed in 2008, they actually Jason now is a grown man, and he hunts down and kills trespassers on his property. A group of teens, they actually go in the woods on the camping trip, and only to have fun this weekend, and they found grass of weed in order to get high because they like to smoke drugs and they love sex. And during the night Jason attacks them, puts the booby traps. Like one of those kids get trapped in a bear trap, and he goes and kills everyone. And this girl, Whitney Miller, she actually disappears. I know this is small, but that's her, played by the actress Amanda Rigetti. She plays Whitney Miller, and she actually gets kidnapped. Now her brother, played by Jared Padalecki, Clay Miller, he after 6 weeks later, he starts walking around Crystal Lake and keeps asking questions, about his missing sister, and he keeps putting flyers around that his sister Whitney is actually missing, and he wants to know where she went, and he keeps walking around. He comes to the gas station, and he actually he goes and meets those a new group of kids, of teens who actually they go into Crystal Lake. Trent Sutton, played by Travis Van Winkle. Damn, he's not in this cover, but he actually goes with his girlfriend Jenna, and his friends to actually his parents' summer house in Crystal Lake, in which for the weekend on Friday the 13th. And unaware is that Jason starts stalking everyone, and he starts killing everyone on his path. He even kills that guy Donnie who lives there. He kills him. And meantime, Clay starts asking questions, and he asks this old lady, and she says that she's dead. She says we all want to have peace. He wants to have peace. And Clay says, who wants to have peace? And she doesn't tell him, so he keeps continue searching, and he comes to this house. Those are Trent friends. He actually goes visit them, and he goes and visit them, and Jenna starts helping him out. And I forgot to mention the open scene when Jason kills everyone of those teens. They actually when he goes and kills like all those teens, Whitney and her boyfriend Nick, they found the hideout in Crystal Lake in Camp Blood. And this movie is not called Camp Blood, but Nick is actually killed, slaughtered. And when Whitney tries to escape, she gets caught by Jason, and after 25 minutes you see the logo Friday the 13th. And like I said, Jenna starts helping Clay, and they actually find out that they see Jason, who goes into the camp, and he brings Buddy, and they both try to warn everyone. And Whitney, we find out she's captured. She tried to escape. That's Whitney. She tried to escape. She tried to warn Bree. I think that's the girl, Bree. And she tried to warn Bree, and she tried to warn Trent, but she got captured and put back with Jason. And of course, Clay and Jenna, they came back. They tried to warn everyone. Jason goes on the rooftop. The rooftop, when we see Jason stand on the rooftop, that was in part 4. Remember when one of those twins, part 4, Jason grabbed and throws out of the window. He also did that in part 7, but in part 4 was much better, than in this movie, Executed on Robin. I think was Tina that she falls out, because they were twins. I don't know which one of those two girls were shown out right now. Excuse me. But Jason, stands on the roof, and and I love also, he goes and kills everyone on his path. On the end, he tries to kill Clay. When he finds his sister, they try to escape. They go to the bus. They try to escape. And yeah, and of course, on the end, there's a final fight between Clay and Jason. And of course, Jared Padalecki is almost 7 foot tall, and that's one of the reasons he had chance to win. But on the end, he trapped Jason, and he was in this beer machine trap with a chain. He actually when it was open, it was like open beer trap, like meat grinder or how you call it, that he was stuck with the chains, and the chain keeps pulling him back. And that time, when he grabs the machete and says, say hi to your mommy in hell, and she goes and stabs him, and his head goes cut to pieces. And I forgot to mention, remember Ginny felt in part 2, Amy Still, when in order to defend herself against Jason, she used philosophy, she used philosophy on Jason to convince him that she's her mother, that she's actually Jason's mother. In order, she used a machete and she tries to hit him, and Jason sees his mom, and he uses the pickaxe, and raises up, in which he defends, and blocks the machete. And she uses reverse psychology because she was child psychologist. Maybe Whitney was child psychologist, because she actually showed that picture. The reason why Jason kidnapped her was because in the picture she reminds him on his mother. I still don't know how she reminds him on his mother, but that's the reason he went and kidnaps her, and she used those words, in order to she used her mind to reverse psychology, so that she could convince that she is actually his mother, in order to have him under control. And yeah, and that's what it was. The final scene, Jason jumps off of the dogs, breaks the dogs, and grabs Whitney, and then the movie ends. I don't know why the movie ends with a cliffhanger. I think this is the first one, beside part 5, A New Beginning, that ends with a cliffhanger. I wish if there would be an explanation why it ended with cliffhanger. I don't know if this movie has an audio commentary, or really like to find out why they actually did, why the movie ended with a cliffhanger. That's my only problem with the film that they have. The rest, the gore, the special effects, I enjoy. And I do enjoy, some kills. I read that the machete was official CGI, but Derek Mears, who plays Jason, he's actually more clever, more smart in this movie. I do love the scenes, when he cuts the tent and kills the guy. He goes and stabs the guy, and he uses in the sleeping bag, in the fire, that girl, Amanda. And this guy tries to save her. He steps in the bear trap, and he later gets killed. I love some pretty good kills in the film. I love in the Shankward, when this guy Aaron Yo Chiwi, Chad Wong Chiwi, he goes in the shack down the path, because he has to fix the chair that he broke. And Jason attacks him, starts throwing him, and then he uses the screwdriver and goes and stabs him in screwdriver right in the neck, stabs him. Great music score by Steve Jablonsky. He goes and stabs him right in the neck. I love that scene. There's this black guy. He tried Lawrence Allen Sarpita. This black guy. This black guy, he was looking for his friend. He finds him in the shake ward, in the shack ward, and Jason attacks him. He stabs Jason in the leg. I still don't know how Jason could move, but Jason grabs the long axe, and and Lawrence starts running, and Jason grabs the axe, throws axe, and axe goes right, flies right in the back of the Jason, and I think that was Jenna. I think she said we had to help him. And he said no, he's used them as a bait, and then he's gonna wait that us, he's gonna kill us. And Jason shows up, and glad no one went out. They called the cops before Jason cut the lines, and he goes and kills the guy to pieces, the black guy. And he somehow climbs on the house, and he goes and kills Bree. And there's also a sex scene between Trent and Bree. And also he uses Bree. He goes and impales her by ultra rack. He goes and stabs and grabs her with the neck and stabs her in the back. And that time Trent thinks it's Jason, and he shoots on Bree accidentally to the door and find out she's dead. He tries to escape. Jason starts hunting them. He finds Trent. Trent is killed, and he's actually stabbed. He's actually stabbed. Actually, he's impaled by Jason with on a rail spike. He's actually stabbed with a machete in the back, and then he's actually grabbed, and he's impaled with on a rail spike of the truck. The driver escapes. He stabs him, and then of course Clay and Jenna, they found the hideout for Jason. They saved his sister, but Jason goes, and kills Jenna on the run. They go to the bus. They climb to the bus scene, which I enjoyed that. I just enjoyed the gory and the slash kills. I like the sex scenes. Olivia America or Olive, I think was the actress. America Olivo, she played Amanda. I think I thought I had the scenes, but I don't have the scenes of her. She shows boobs, or the actress Brie, she shows her great tits, and just love the gore. I love the gore scenes, the tits, the nudity. I love that in the film. And Jason is also menacing. I mean, there's also Ryan Hansen from Veronica Mars. And Jason uses bow and arrow flies when he's driving a boat on the lake. He gets right the arrow in the head. Great effect, great effect. And then he hits, he goes and hits that girl. I think was Chelsea Villafort. He goes and she gets hit with she's actually hit with the boat. She hides under the docks, and Jason, I don't know how he figured out, but goes and stabs her in the head and falls down. I still don't know how he did that, but he went and stabbed her. But yeah, it has good skills, good special effects by Scott Studart. He was a special effects artist. He created Jason look and face combination of Carl Fullerton's design for in Friday the 13th Part 2. It actually took 4 hours of makeup for Jason's face, in order to make him perfect. Because he actually designed just like in Part 2. And like I said, they wanted to have Part 5 to ignore the next sequels, but they did later a reboot, and a really good one. And yeah, it's actually a really good one. I do love the woods. The entire movie was filmed in Austin, Texas. And this movie made a lot of money. On budget $19 million, it made worldwide $91 million. It's the first Friday 13 movie that made that much money. The first one made, I think the first one made $39 million. This is the most expand. This is the most movie successful. It was a hit and made a lot of money. It grossed in US and Canada $65 million, so that's great. This movie was filmed in locations Austin, Texas from 21st April till 13 June 2008. So when the writers' strike was grilled at that time in 2008 during Supernatural season 3, they were all of them, they actually were available. And because Supernatural was on hiatus and they just ended after 16 episodes in season 3, because season 1 and 2 they have 22 episodes, this one has 16 episodes. So Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles, they both tried in a horror reboot since they became a horror icon because they were playing Supernatural in a horror show. And yeah, in that time I have to say the first 5 Supernatural seasons I enjoy. The first 5 seasons I enjoy. Sadly, season 6 till I think it was like season 16, I thought they all suck. They are bullshit. They're boring. They're terrible. I thought both actors are just over the top. I think they're both overrated, and they think now they are the icon because the show was such a hit. Actually, it sucked. I came only till season 9. I have tried to watch season 9. It was so bad awful. I cannot stand the show anymore. I'm glad it was cancelled, but it was way too long on the air, and I think it's fucking overrated. But both the actors, Jensen Ackles did My Bloody Valentine. I prefer this movie. I thought Jared Padalecki did much better than Jensen Ackles. I love, he's a good guy. He's a brother. He tries to save, his sister. She's like enchained twice. I just love that. Travis Van Winkler reminds me on Russell from this movie right there, Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. Remember Russell when he shows up, he gets a blow in his face from Jason's ex, in Part 7. And remember when he shows up in the house, when he actually rented from the uncle. This house was actually taken by Trent from his parents. And remember when Russell says, they're eating my uncle's food. We're supposed to bring our food. Remember when he says these lines. And Travis also acts like Russell in Part 7, in which she breaks his stool and says, Jesus, don't break my parents' furniture. Please don't go and don't burn my house. When Chewie tries that fire, he tries to that alcohol tries to drink with the fire, and he breaks the chair and says, and Trent tells him, I hope you can pull off some MacGyver shit, go down the tool to the shack, the pet, and just love that, And I love Trent. Yeah, he is a dick, he is an asshole, but he's still, I thought the actor did a good job. Trent Sutter, he did a good job. The actress who played Amanda, an actress, she actually dropped off this film. So America Olivo, she actually was she was actually the actress that she was cast in the last minute, because they give her a call when she was on the set, and they asked her to do a tape. She did it, and next day they called her, and she had to fly right to Austin, Texas to shoot the film, because the actress that they had in mind, she dropped out. I have no idea, but yeah, the actress dropped out. Marcus Nispel did a great job directing this film. He did a great job. I love soundtracks like Sister Christian, Night Ranger, and Freaky and Lonely Lioness by Bumblebees. I have that movie in the soundtracks on my cell phone. And also remember the song in the open scene as Sister Christian, Jensen Ackles in live. He actually was singing that time that song, and I have to say that Jensen Ackles is one of the most nicest guys I have ever seen. I think he is really a nice guy and a really good actor. I remember 4 years ago I watched this film non-stop. I love girls. I love sexy tits and love girls. And there was this my ex-girlfriend, sister. I actually was kinda had a little crush on her. I didn't know she's a fucking bitch. I had no idea. But I remember when she kept ignoring me, and I remember that I was listening to Jensen Ackles singing this song, what is called Sister Christian, and he actually cheered me up, and I'm really thankful to Jensen Ackles. I know he doesn't know anything about it, but yeah, but I'm glad I didn't waste my time on that junky slut and my ex girlfriend can kiss my ass. She still tries to get back with me after everything. She calls me. I try to be nice. I can't even stand her anymore. It's just impossible. I hope she doesn't see it, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna mention her or her names. But goes to the film. This movie has two black bars. This movie actually has two black bars. Part 3, and this movie and Freddy vs. Jason are the only one that are actually filmed in aspect ratio with two black bars. The rest are actually widescreen. The rest of the franchise, that's cool. But I don't think this movie is nearly as bad as people are making out to be. I think it's another underrated film, and I think there's a lot of fans that love this one. I love this movie. Love the kills, love the actresses. Jared Padalecki, Derek Mears is one of my favorite Jasons. I think, I don't know, maybe he will be number 5 Jason, definitely, because I think that he was, this movie is scary. It's really scary. It has blood, it has gore. Jason is so fucking terrifying. I'm really scared of this guy in this movie. And I think that Derek Mears is the tallest one. I agree that he's a nice guy, he's a stuntman, but damn, he's scary. I would be very too scared crossing him. No, I think he will be nice, but I never met any of the actors, so yeah, but yeah, this movie gets shit. I expressed this movie could have got a sequel. When I did last year, some sequels deserves some movies deserves a sequel. I mentioned that this movie could have been a sequel. Yes, there was a written script for part 2, but it never materialized. It was announced in 2017, but the script is gone. I don't know what happened, but it's not gonna be part 2. And also because the rights are held by New Line Cinema. I know they emerged now with Paramount Pictures, but since New Line Cinema is actually holding the rights, for this film, I don't think there's gonna be any Friday the 13th movie at all. Except fan films, it's not gonna be. So sadly, this is the final film in the franchise. I'm just gonna stand here. Friday the 13th Friday the 13th 2009 reboot is actually one of the most horror films, I'll say entertaining, fun horror films, scary, very invented, clever invented horror films. My only problem is the CGI stuff in the film. The rest of the film I enjoy, but yeah, it's an entertaining horror film. So that's my review on Friday the 13th Part 9. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's not better than Friday vs. Jason. I still put that movie above this one. But yeah, it's one of my favorite horror films of all time, in top 20 definitely. But that's my review on Friday the 13th 2009 reboot. I hope you enjoy. It's not bad like people are making. If you haven't seen, watch it, or watch it if you haven't seen. It has damn good kills, good gore. It's scary as hell, and from past 12, 13 years, this is the best one I have seen so far. But still, the Hills Have Eyes 2006 is the best one of the remakes of horror, in my opinion, my favorite. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'm out. Peace. Bye bye.